going to switch topics, and Katheryne Patrick is here. I'm so happy that Katheryne is here and ready to share her experience with Odyssey of the Mind. Um, you've been very successful with it. Your students have been very successful with it. Share with us, Katheryne, why is it important and how do you do it?
Okay, good morning, everyone. I am very excited to be joining you from the southeastern part of the state. I'm going to share my screen, so give me just a moment. Okay, so I am in my fifth year of coaching Odyssey of the Mind at Pineville Independent Schools. And this is my 13th year teaching math, so I've loved everything that Michael was talking about because I actually do have some middle school students, and we have a very large group taking Algebra 1 this year. So it was really nice hearing those statistics. But anyway, I am a middle school math teacher and a gifted educator at Pineville Independent Schools, and I'm in my fifth year, beginning this year, of coaching Odyssey of the Mind. And for me, it's been a really great way to meet some needs of my gifted students. We have been lucky enough for the past 3 years to advance to World Finals. And then this past year, my middle school team actually placed second place in the spontaneous competition. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how OM works, or Odyssey of the Mind works, and some ways it can benefit gifted students. Um, OM has two components. There's a long-term component and a spontaneous component. The long term, the children or the kids, the team chooses their problem. They have problems 1 through 5. My team has been very successful at problem 4, which is the technical problem, building a tower with balsa wood. And each year the requirements kind of change. But some of the problems or some of the components that don't really change is the fact that they're going to present their solution in a skit. So if you have kids that are really mathematical, engineered, that they enjoy that, but you have some visual performing art kids that like to perform and create songs or create skits or costumes. It's a way to kind of get all of those working together. Um, so, Odyssey of the Mind is just a creative problem solving competition. It encourages creative thinking, which is crucial for our GT students. Their task with solving is an open ended problem. And so they have to come up with their own solution, and then they promote or they perform their solution as a skit. It definitely develops some problem solving skills. It can range, like I said, from artistic, where they have to, like, one of the requirements is to create their own original song, or technical, where they are building their own vehicle, and there is different components that it has to, meet or perform, or they're building a tower to hold some weight. It definitely supports divergent thinking. It encourages them to come up with different ways and different solutions. And it's been great to see my kids that have different talents working together and being able to shine in areas outside of school that maybe they're not given those opportunities in school, because we're a smaller district. So we don't have as many visual performing arts opportunities for those kids. It definitely is a great way for them to work as a team. Um, my middle school team, that's a group of eighth graders this year, they have been together, some of them since fifth grade. So they have kind of formed a very strong bond as a team. Perseverance, it's always, if this doesn't work, how can I go back and rebuild or change or modify something so it's going to work better. And the biggest thing about OM is completely student led. There is no outside assistance from the coaches. You're just there kind of as a proctor to make sure they're not hurting themselves, watching as a chaperone. It's all student led. In Kentucky, there's a primary division for students grades K through 2. So that might be something if you're looking for extracurricular activities for your primary talent pool students. There's a division 1 that's up to fifth grade. And then the middle school division is 6th through 8th, and then there's a high school division. There's actually a division 4 that's for college or other programs. And in Kentucky, our deadline to register for OM is January the 15th. And there are some competition dates. There's a Western and Northern and Eastern regional qualifier, and it's kind of changed a little bit. You just have to go and perform, and then you automatically qualify and get to go to the state tournament. And then at the state tournament, the top two teams from each problem will advance to the world finals. And this year it's being held in May at Michigan State University. And then at the end, I've just got a little picture of my middle school team, the one that advanced this year to world finals. This was, I think, at the state tournament. So their kind of overall theme was a space area 51. So you can kind of see their little costumes and they create all their props. And then there's a picture of the boys putting weight on their structure. But that's kind of all I have. I think for me, it's been a really good way as an extracurricular. Maybe if you have students that are not really into sports and they want to do something and they want to do competitions and compete, this is a good way for your gifted students to kind of shine and have an extracurricular, another outlet for their talents. So I will
Well, may I
turn
ask
it
a
back over to
question or
you.
two,
Yes,
Katheryne?
you can.
Um, if you are preparing for the OM competition, what's the benefit for students? Why would you go to this amount of trouble? And I do believe you should, so I'm not asking that. But tell us, what do the students gain?
The students, like for me, my students, they have gained a lot of self-confidence. There are students that I would have never dreamed, and their parents would have never dreamed that they would be in a skit or a play. And they're really good, and their parents are just shocked that they have came out of their shell and are able to do this, or that there's a talent that they didn't even know that they had when they're building these props or they're writing these skits. So for me, it's really rewarding to see them come up with the idea on their own and work from the ground up of making this performance, these costumes, these props to solve this problem. And then the spontaneous part, it's really good to see them and the teamwork and how excited that they get. So for me as a coach and as a teacher, it's just super rewarding to see the confidence that the students are gaining.
So is it expensive to
It
host OM teams?
There is if you are gonna do the tournament, you have to be a member of the national OM. So for a single district like our district, the membership is $290, which is not, I don't think it's not too much. Then as far as the problems themselves, they give them a money spent, like a limit. So you have to provide a cost sheet. And so most of the materials have to be recycled, thrifted, because last year I think our budget was $135. So the kids also are learning how to be very economical with their decisions because they can't spend a ton of money. So for me, it's not super expensive because they have to stay within that financial constraint.
So how do you prepare for the individual competition that is a part of this?
So for the spontaneous competition,
Yes.
that part,
Yes.
so we actually, the Kentucky Odyssey of the Mind, they provide some workshops as well, and so you can go to their website, and if you just Google Kentucky Odyssey of the Mind, and Michael Taylor and Jimmy Corn have been wonderful and been very helpful. Um, they have came and actually provided some workshops for my kids, but there's a ton of resources, and a lot of it is practicing like some STEM hands-on activities with the kids. So when we have our practices, I will give them like a spontaneous prompt that's been released, and then Jimmy has Corn has actually came and set up some things for our school to work on as well.
I would tell you I'm a huge OM fan. I
Oh, I
think
love it.
that probably the area of giftedness in Kentucky that is often under-identified and overlooked is the creativity
I
category.
agree.
And this provides a wonderful opportunity. Does the sponsor have to be an educator?
No. You there could it can be a civic organization because there are some you can actually um have a team that's from multiple different schools. Like it does not have to just be a school. It can be so if you're a parent and you want you can if you can get a team together, like it can be a civic organization. Um I'm not sure all the different rules about it, but I know it does not have to just be a school.
Is it easy to get parent support?
For me, it has not been hard to get parent support. I feel like we're a smaller school, and I have been lucky enough that the group of students that I have, I was their fourth and fifth grade math teacher, and then I moved to middle school, so I've had them for a long time. Um, so it's not been really hard for me to get parent support. Um, where it's a lot of the kids having to do it themselves, and making them really responsible and not being able to get assistance from things, it's a good thing. So, I feel like it's even if you didn't have a lot of parent support, the kids would still be able to do it because it's making them being independent and choosing and committing to do it this on their own.
Well, Catherine, are there questions for Catherine with the chat?
There was a comment in here from Shannon Slate. She just mentioned she would love if you could send your structure coaching tips. She said it's her third year of OM and her groups have gotten a little better each year at the problem, but still struggle. Is there anything you want to mention about the structure coaching tips right now, Catherine?
Um, so like how to get the structure of like getting the practices and things together, is what I'm gathering. So my structure for my kids, um, and I'm gonna write down also her email so I can email her. Cause yes, because it is like your first year coaching OM, you kind of feel like you don't know what you're doing. But for me, my practices, the closer it gets to building the structure. Okay, building the actual structure. Um, so my students, they it's a lot of trial and error. They have not started yet on it, but they do a lot of, and we actually have out a crusher board at school, and they will go to the weight room, and it has been a lot of trial and error. So the group that I have, like I said, they started in fifth grade, and now they're eighth graders. So definitely, just it has been trial and error for us with the structure.
And
There's another
actually,
question.
actually, that's wonderful
Yeah.
to problem solve. You try
Yes.
it and what needs to be changed, and you do
Yes.
it. My goodness, that's a lifelong skill. Tyler?
So Jenny has asked who provides the cost, the 130 initially, is it your district? So you have a fund to use to provide materials?
Um, so for us, it last year, um, our GT, because there is money like each district that our GT program provided the initial $135 for that, and they also paid the registration fee for the 290 for us to join. So I would
Odyssey,
check maybe with maybe gifted coordinators in your district if that's something that they would be willing to do.
OM is not a new
No,
opportunity. It's been around for a long time. So there would be people across the state who have great experience with OM. I suppose what you said well, I liked lots of things that you said. I like the benefits for students. I like the help that's provided at the state level for you when you said Jimmy Corn and the other person might come out and work with your students. That's pretty amazing.
mhm.
That's, I like that.
Yes, if you have an OM team, I would definitely recommend reaching out to Jimmy and having him come and do a spontaneous workshop.
It's kind of funny, if I go back quite a while, my grown daughter was involved with OM and won the Renata Fusca Award for creativity. So
That's
it's
awesome.
it's not a new thing for me, but I have been a supporter of OM a long time. And I would encourage any of you who have a hint of interest in this to find out when the regional finals are and go visit. It's pretty exciting to see all of the things that the teams can do in the different problems. And the
Yes,
different problems appeal to the creativity of our students in a whole range of areas.
yes.
Um, it's very
And one thing
different from one problem to the next.
it is. And if you're remotely interested in doing it, there is a shadow program that you can go and shadow a coach at the regional qualifiers and kind of find out the information and how it all works. So if you were interested, maybe you're not sure if you want to do it, but you're interested, there is a shadow program that you can do.
I love it. I love it. Well, Katheryne, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much for
sharing.
having me.
And I think when you hear from someone who's so enthusiastic in a small district, you can picture how that could happen in any size of a district. So thank you. I'm delighted to
Thank
see you.
you. It's good seeing you
Thanks.
too.
Bye.